What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to the next tech tuning video. As you guys saw in the last one, we just finished up with a lot of big work on the Celica, including the head gasket, which was completely out of the blue, as well as the front timing chain cover seals, which we knew we had to do and finally got it sorted out. If you watched all the way through, then you know that it was a constant problem that I've been dealing with, and I'm really happy to say that we finally got it sorted out. There's no coolant or oil mixing, which is really good because we definitely don't want that. And of all the new parts and everything I replaced, everything seems to be sealing really good, so we no longer have any oil leaking from the front of the motor. And on top of that, after replacing the head gasket, our compression test went really well and everything looks really good to go for the future. There are a few things that are still left for me to button up though, and that's going to be the goal in this video, is to replace a few more little things that I had intended to do in the last one, but I'm just getting to now. If you saw at the end of the last video when we were just trying to start the car up again, it wasn't running right at first. We tracked that down to just being the distributor right here being one tooth off. So I took it out, readjusted it, and put it back in. I do now have a new distributor cap and a new distributor rotor that I would like to replace today. Just some good maintenance since I've actually never replaced them since getting the car. I did put new plugs in as well in the last video, which they weren't really due, but I was trying to track down what could have been causing the car to run weird, and we put those in just to be safe. The other thing will be this front pulley for the power steering. As you can see perfectly from right here, it's super like warped and out of round. Originally, I didn't want to replace one because the replacements are really expensive. I was seeing them anywhere from like $130 to $150, which just seems really steep for such a small piece. But I actually managed to find one on eBay. If the link is still active, then I'll put that in the description for you guys, just in case anybody needs it. Since of all the pulleys on here, that is one of the most important ones for the power steering. So luckily I got that for a good deal and I have that ready to go on. If I can, I'm going to try and do that in this video as well, since it should be pretty easy. I think we'll just have to disconnect the power steering belt, and hopefully we can just remove the 4 bolts that hold it to the harmonic balancer and pop it off. Then we can put the new one on and get it all put back together. You'll also probably see that the strut bar is lacking in presence here. I had to take it out obviously with all the work we were doing, so I'd like to put that back in as well and tighten that back up. And we're still running the no cruise control here just because it looks a lot cleaner. I do really want to detail the bay now though, because you can see there's tons of dirt just like piled up underneath here because it was getting all stuck. But otherwise, I'm really happy to report that everything's been going well. Like I said, it's running and driving great. I have the timing set to 10 degrees before top dead center for the ignition, and it's doing really well with that. Our power steering is no longer leaking thanks to that new O-ring, and I'm having no other issues so far, no vacuum leaks or anything that would cause a problem, which is awesome stuff to report. So yeah, let's get started on these small projects, see what we can get through. Hopefully we make it all the way to that pulley, because I'd like to get that done. I just don't want to take the car too far apart again, since I'm really enjoying having it to drive again. It's been ages and it drives so well, especially now that everything is fixed, and I just feel really good mentally knowing that I don't have to constantly check the oil, I don't have to constantly check the coolant. I just know that it's doing good now, which is a really nice feeling. So yeah, let's get right to doing this work. So I have the new cap and I also have the new rotor. It should be really easy. All you need to do this is just a Phillips head screwdriver and some time. I had put these in actually in the last video, but when the car wasn't running right, I actually took them out and put the originals back in just to be sure. I was trying to narrow down variables, so putting the original stuff in helped me rule out that the new parts weren't defective or anything. I'm sure somebody with more experience would have known right away that the distributor was just out of alignment, but I hadn't messed with it in so long and I had changed so many other things on the car that at that time nothing seemed like it couldn't have been a possibility for what was making it run so strangely. It almost sounded like it was running on one cylinder entirely, to be honest. But thankfully we got that all sorted out. I really can't express enough how happy I am to just have the car working as it should be again. So I have the cap off. I'm just gonna put it to the side. And doing this is so easy. All you have to do is just pop off the old rotor. I have our new one. And I'll pop that one back on. And they're made so that it can only go on one way, so you really can't mess this up. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna bolt on the new cap, and then I'll just start transferring the plug wires over one by one. That way we keep everything exactly where it's supposed to be. The cap is nice and simple also. It can only go on one way, so you really can't mess this up. We just gotta tighten down these screws that hold it to the actual distributor, and I'm just gonna do it applying even pressure. That way it's not crooked or anything, and that should be good. So we can put our screwdriver aside. And now, like I said, I'm just gonna take the wires, and they're all labeled. You can see like 1, 2, 3, 4, and the middle one. And I'm just gonna pop off the number 1, put it on the 1, pop off 2, put it on 2. And that's it, just a quick little tune-up that should hopefully keep the car running good for the time being. And I apologize for like the repeat stuff, considering you watched me do the distributor cap and rotor last video, and you've seen me do the strut bar before. But as we've learned, that's how it goes a lot of the times working on cars, is you have to do things over or undo things and redo things. Progress isn't always linear. Okay, and just like that, that's one more thing on our checklist done. I really stand on my statement that this was like the best money I've spent on the vehicle, and it made the biggest difference for the least amount. And I'm just really happy that that's back together and our motor's in good condition. Now what we can take a look at is that lower power steering pulley. Like I said, I believe if we just get some of this smaller stuff out of the way, we should be able to just undo the 4 bolts that hold it to the balancer and slip it off and put the new one on. The main crankshaft bolt actually looks like it goes through that balancer, if that makes sense. So it shouldn't inhibit us from removing that front pulley and putting the new one in. What I'll do first is just take off the belt, and hopefully that'll give us enough room. If not, and need be, I'll also disconnect the fan, which is just those 4 nuts there, to move that out of the way and give us a little bit more space. However, I think we should be alright with just doing the belt, and then maybe I can get a Milwaukee tool or a ratchet down there just to get those bolts loose. Surprisingly, this belt's actually starting to go already. It's got cracks in it, probably just because of how many times I've taken it on and off. So that'll be something to look to replace sometime soon. Okay, so I disconnected the clutch fan, took off the water pump pulley, and we actually have a good bit more space to get my arms down there, so I'm gonna proceed with pulling out the rest of the bolts. I don't know how big of a difference this will actually make on like the car, or if you'll feel it at all. The main reason I'm replacing it is just because I know it's at the harmonic balancer, so it's meant to be balanced, and the fact that it's all out of alignment like that is kind of like, I don't know, just a red flag to me. And now is a great opportunity for me to show you guys how badly this was messed up. You can see if you look, it obviously like something hit it and like dented it, but then as you keep spinning it, you can just see how like warped and messed up it is. And then there's another big chunk of it that's like flattened out right here. Whether or not the new one will make a huge difference, I can't say for sure, but I'll feel a little bit better having it in there, and I'll keep this one as a spare just in case. And we've got our fresh new one now, so I'm gonna slot this in, and we'll actually use some blue Loctite when we put the bolts in this time, because we definitely don't want these coming loose and backing out while we're driving the car. Okay, it's on. Getting the pulley bolts on was actually way harder than it was getting them off, because you gotta line up the pulley with the harmonic balancer threaded spots and get the bolt in really without even seeing it. You're just kind of eyeballing it, so it was just sliding it around and guessing and trying to get a thread started. But once I got one caught, it was a lot easier. I was able to fly through the rest. You can see our nice new pulley is fully on, mounted. I put blue Loctite on everything. Now, you might be able to see one of our water pump studs popped out when I was taking the fan off, so we'll have to blue Loctite that back on and pop that back in as well. But nothing too crazy. Thankfully we got that on, and I'm really happy it was easy and didn't take too long, so I'm gonna start putting everything back together. So now that we're at the chill point in this job where I can just sort of piece things together leisurely, I think it's a good time to talk about what's next for the Celica. Obviously, as you guys can tell, the video frequency had to go down because I was very much so focused on just getting it running and driving again. With that being said, what I'd really like to get done next is going to be those front coilovers from ground control. My only thing is that you have to cut out the original spring perch and you have to use a weld-in perch, and I'm not confident in my ability to weld in that new perch, so currently I'm trying to figure out where I could take that to get that done. All I really need them to do is weld in the new perch, and then I can probably do the rest of the installation myself. It doesn't look too complicated from that point. Other than that, mechanically the car should be pretty well situated at this point. There's really no other underlying issues that I'm at least aware of at this point in time. Everything else that I have to do from this point on is going to be, for the most part, cosmetic, or like just basically like livability things. Like I still need to fix the driver's side power window, and of course a few fun things. I still have the boiler muffler sitting in my garage, which I would really like to install that. And just like that, we should be about golden. We have both of our belts back on, and everything is nicely tightened and snugged down. Our new pulley is on, and with blue Loctite keeping it secure. Same with our clutch fan. I have that one stud back in with blue Loctite. New distributor cap, distributor rotor, and the strut bar is reinstalled. I think for this video, that's where I'm gonna about call it. There's a couple other things I need to do. I still do want to readjust the valves, and I'm also definitely due to refresh that K&N intake filter that I put in the car a while ago. But those are things I think I'm gonna save for a different time, and I'm gonna do it in a separate video with some other stuff as well. So yeah, with that being said, let's just start up the car really quick, make sure everything is good, and then we can call it a day. Everything looks and sounds really good, so I think we're gonna call it a day here. So thank you guys as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.